Yeah, that's so funny.
Yo, shout out to the Most High. The Thomas I see you in our Lord status LDs. Also known Lord One for another episode of I Need to Know with my special guest. Introduce yourself, G.
Sean Granberry, CEO and founder of Hip Hop TV. Let's do this.
Okay, for sure. Well, I can't ask you. No, I'm going to ask you anyway. Where'd you get your name from, Sean Granberry?
Sean Granberry. You know, it's so crazy. My mother's a retired college professor, so she researched our family history. And my dad's last name is Granberry, and we found out on my mother's side, when we go back to the last family that owned our enslaved ancestors, name was Granberry. It was an Irish family named Granberry. So Granberries on both sides of our family. But yeah, you know, so Granberries on both sides.
Wait. So they might be related.
Well, no, it was an Irish family named Granberry.
Okay.
I don't know if my father's side came from the same plantation or something, but you know, that could be something.
You know what I'm about to say? So they might be related.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
For sure, man. So what's up, man? What's happening?
Man, I'm just here. You know, I'm actually a fan of the show.
Okay.
For the record, Chris Six was my favorite interview. So I'll let you know that's my favorite one. You know, Yuck was next, you know what I'm saying? Because he was dissected Chris's interview and put it on record.
Man, you know what? I got to say, shout out to Yuck Mouth for throwing me the oop and dissecting it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Yuck, man. And thank you for knowing that I was just interviewing. Thank you, Yuck.
That was great content. That was some great content.
Yeah, for sure. And Yuck, we need you on the show.
Yep.
But check this out though, Sean. You just threw the Tupac Day. Was that your first one?
That was my first one. I got a call from Uncle Bobby. You guys don't know Bobby McCall is Money B's father. Bobby was in the Black Panther Party. Money B was born into the Black Panther Party as a baby. So Uncle Bobby gave me a call, knowing I do work with the Black Panther Party Legacy Network, so all the alumni of the Black Panther Party. So Uncle Bobby gave me a call, need some help with a location, need some help with, some talent. And LDs is one artist came out, LDs, and put on a great show. So I look forward to working with him in the future.
Okay,
so
man.
Shout out to Kelda Music, too. Shout out to Kelda.
Yeah, shout out to Kelda, the beret lady. You know what I'm saying? She came out there with the berets and shit like that. She asked me, did I want to model one? I was like, nah, that ain't really my thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you know why, though? Because I'm bald head.
Okay.
You know, it ain't no hair under this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying, Ed?
You know, you got to get your Black Panther on sometime, though. You know, you saw the old videos. You got to throw your fist in the air with a beret on, you know?
I think it looks better with a shotgun.
Okay.
So check this out. I want to know something. Where did your hip-hop experience start? Why don't you take me all the way back?
Well, I was born into hip-hop. My family is FM Studios, FM Productions. So my uncle is Thomas McElroy. He's 8 years older than me, so we were raised as brothers. He's basically my older brother, even though he's my uncle. He was an accident baby, so he was born way after my mother and my other uncles. So we were raised together as brothers. He went on to be this producer with him and Denzel Foster. They started with Confunction. Then they did Club Nouveau. They did Timex Social Club. Look at all these rumors.
Yeah.
Running around so they produced that. Then they did Club Nouveau. Then they did Tony. Then they did In Vogue. But they were around the 80s when all the music was coming together. So Hammer came to my uncle, how can I get down in the music industry?
Yeah.
Short came to my uncle, trying to figure it out. 415, Daryl, the one that put 415 together, the manager, is one of my uncle's closest friends. So,
DJ Daryl?
Not DJ Daryl.
Jed?
So Jed.
Is Jed and Daryl the same person?
Jed government name is Daryl. So we grew up in the same neighborhood.
Okay.
We call him Daryl.
Okay.
The streets call him Jed.
Gotcha. So, I've never seen him before, but I'm trying to make the connection.
Jed stays very low key.
Gotcha. Okay.
But now he's Daryl. Lives a normal life as Daryl. Daryl and my uncle were like best friends growing up.
Your uncle brother.
My uncle brother.
Yeah.
My uncle older brother. And
That's
Daryl,
a brunkle.
And Daryl are good friends who the street know as Jed. So we're going to translate all this stuff. So 415 was brought to my uncle first. Okay. Before anybody ever knew who 415 was, 415. So to rewind a little bit further, I worked for my uncle in the A&R department. So my job was to search the world for the next groups. So E40 and the Clicks demo tape came to my desk. 415 demo tape came to my desk. Hammer actually had a demo record. He didn't do a demo tape. He had a demo wax.
Yeah.
So Hammer's always different. Came to my desk. So that whole music scene during that whole era was my uncle played a big part in that whole music scene, but he was put on by Felton Pilot in Confunction.
Okay.
So Felton Pilot and Confunction would mentor young musicians. So Felton Pilot is who was the first producer for Hammer. The first Hammer, but it's all Felton Pilot. So Felton Pilot had actually played a role in Vogue, Toady, Club Nouveau, Hammer, and who knows who else was actually the producer of Confunction. So it's all links together in this whole musical history. So I was introduced to hip hop through my uncle, who when he was in Club Nouveau, he would travel.
Yeah.
So when he would do shows in New York, he would bring back mixtapes to the house. So I would listen to all these New York mixtapes and just be blown away. I would show my friend. I was all famous to my friends.
Yeah.
Sean got all the music before it come out.
Yeah.
Sean got all the music before it come out. So it was just a great childhood, man. But I was introduced to hip hop definitely through my uncle and all his travels.
Okay, you know what I'm about to say, right?
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. That's my response. Yeah.
For sure. So I was gonna say this. You said that you knew Chris Hicks very close, right?
Right. So Chris Hicks and my uncle went to high school together. So
Okay.
they graduated from St. Mary's High School in 1982. So I would go to my uncle's football games and run around. He would call me his nephew. I'm his nephew. He could live my little nephew. And so Chris was around for all that.
Yeah.
So my uncle and Chris go way back. So they went all through high school together. So my uncle produced a Club Nouveau song called "Why You Treat Me So Bad." Do 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 do. That's the music to "I Got Five" on it is Club Nouveau's "Why You Treat Me So Bad," which recently I found out was on Timex Social Club's album first, as another title. But my uncle and Denny, his partner, had produced that song. So they took that beat and put it on Club Nouveau's record.
So it was twice.
It's twice.
Okay.
Twice. So when Chris sampled I Got, for I Got Five, he sampled "Why You Treat Me So Bad," he didn't even clear it with my uncle. You know they're friends.
Yeah.
They know Chris, and you know Chris. So Chris Chris sampled it, and then afterwards, my uncle said he was at like Chicken and Waffle in L.A. and he heard the song playing. Like, who took my son? The next day, Chris called and was like, "Hey, Tom, I got you. I got you." And so now, whenever you hear "I Got Five" on it, it's Chris getting a check, and my uncle gets a check too.
Okay, I just want
Everyone in the world.
I just want to be Chris Hicks real quick.
Yeah.
Impersonate Chris
Okay.
calling up. Hey, I got you. Shout out to Chris.
Exactly.
Hey,
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly. That's Chris.
I Got Five on it is one of the biggest rap songs to come out the Bay.
It is.
What's the number one record to come out the Bay?
You know what? For me personally, or on stats.
On stats.
On stats,
On stats, nigga.
that has to be one of Hammer's.
Okay.
Can't touch this. Got to have the biggest numbers. He got to have the biggest numbers.
Okay, gotcha.
He got to have the biggest numbers.
Okay, don't be trying to come on my
I'm saying
show
stats.
and win no
No.
motherfucking prizes.
I was gonna say, I love. People laugh at me about this. I love "Ringo" by Hammer. I was dancing my butt off to Ringo.
for sure.
To Ringo. I still dance with Ringo come on. But You Can't Touch It has to be the number one seller out of all hip hop.
So for all intent purposes, I really want to do this though.
Okay.
What are the 5 biggest rap records to come out of the Bay? We got Hammer at number 1. You Can't Touch This.
Right.
I Got Five on at number 2. What is 3, 4, and 5? And let's just throw the. Go for it. You ain't even got to rank them.
3, 4, and 5. Yeah. So Digital Underground got great numbers. So that Humpty Hump and all that had a lot of spins, sold a lot of records, and is up there. So people overlook Digital Underground sometimes. But Humpty Hump and Humpty Hump in particular did great numbers.
Okay.
If you're gonna say Tupac for the Bay, you got several to choose from. So you got several albums to choose from in terms of top hits. So you got to put Pac up there. All Eyes on Me. Greatest songs to come out. He was in LA recording this stuff. That's what I'm saying. You want to say, babe?
I don't put that. I don't put that. I put Me Against the World on. Is Me Against the World a Bay album?
What? I mean, just all them hits that you hear weren't all recorded in the Bay. So even some of the stuff you heard, a lot of recordings happens in LA. So songs you think may have been recorded here, short recording in LA too. So you know what I'm saying? So Too Short's coming next in my list.
Okay, got it.
Too Short's coming next. And actually, out Too Short's own mouth, Ghetto is his biggest song. That's the biggest selling song he ever had.
Well, you know what's crazy?
I didn't know that till he told me. When
did you ask him that?
He just told me. I mean, it wasn't that about a year ago. And I never knew it was that.
But
Ghetto's his biggest selling song.
Really?
And the conversation was this. It was an interesting conversation.
Okay.
Short was breaking down that he's always wanted to release a positive album. He's always wanted to release a positive. And the labels told him no, he couldn't do it. But he said his biggest hit was a positive song. His argument to the label was, my biggest selling hit was Ghetto, which is a positive song. And he's always argued that he wanted to release a positive song, but he's known for what he does.
That's right.
He's known for what he does. And the labels felt that would break, the
momentum of who he was or the image.
Right. But he felt he should have the right, if he chose to do a positive album, he should have the right, but the labels like, we're not going to put it out.
Well, you know what? That's
now he's independent. He could do what he wanted to do. But in the past, when he was signed to Jive, he asked Jive, can I put out a positive album? Even recorded the songs, but Jive told him they wouldn't promote it and not going to put it out.
So you know what's so funny? Because I asked Too Short this question.
Right.
Because I've asked other people as if they were Too Short.
Right.
But I'm about to ask you this question, and then we're going to go. If you was Too Short, right? Mm-hmm. And you never released no music, you just been recording all that music, what would your first single be?
Out of all the songs he made or a whole new song?
No, out of all the songs that he made.
You know what? I'm such a Too Short fan, and growing up, I was in the neighborhood when Too Short was on coffee tables and stuff, so I go way back.
Yeah.
My cousin still got the custom tape that he sold him off 98th and Cherry. So I go way, way back in the Too Short story. But I like the early stuff. Dope Fiend Beat is one of my favorite songs. I go back to the early stuff. Freaky Tales, when he was playing, he played the keyboard in Freaky Tales. You know what I'm saying? So I like that early stuff.
He said that he said either Ghetto or Freaky Tales would be his first single if he never released no music.
Because Ghetto, a lot of people don't know Ghetto was his top selling song.
Over Blow the Whistle?
Ghetto has did more than Blow the Whistle. Ghetto sold a lot. He told me this person. I didn't know that Ghetto had did so because Ghetto's not even one of my top songs with Too Short. But he said that's his biggest commercial hit is Ghetto.
Gotcha.
So I love Blow the Whistle and the new stuff, but I'm old school. I saw him on the coffee table. I personally saw Too Short on the coffee table doing a concert off 98. So the top 5, right?
Right. Is You Can't Touch This. I got 5 on it.
Digital Underground, Humpty Dance.
Okay.
All right.
Humpty Dance.
Pac. Pick a Pac. I won't say All Eyes on Me or something. I Get Around. Let's say Pac. That was definitely recorded here and the music video here, everything here.
Yeah.
And then 5. For me, I'm such a big 415 album. That first album for 415, they make the cut. Groupie makes the cut.
Okay.
Groupie alone makes the cut. Don't.
I'm fucking with that 93 till infinity.
I grew up with Big Wheels with Souls of Mischief. So I'm being disrespectful for not putting them there. But they're 6.
They 6?
They 6.
Okay.
They 6. And then we were on Big Wheels together. Yeah. Really kickball before hip hop and everything. So.
Yeah. So speaking of hip hop, right? Do you feel as though that hip hop has been weaponized against the inner city youth?
Hip hop is a weapon against inner city youth. I'm gonna tell you a crazy story. Hadari, who what's Hadari's last name? He's with the Poet Groups. Anyway, Hadari spoke in D.C. and he told a story. He was receiving a National Poet Award. And he said, you know what? In the beginning of hip-hop, in the streets of New York, the gangs were yelling Ungawa Black Power off the police. New York gangs in the South Bronx and Brooklyn was uniting with the Black Panther Party. And at that same time, African Bambaataa took a flight to Africa, sent by the government, by this government, for a trip to Africa. When he came back with the concept of hip hop. Peace, love, unity, and having fun. He said, notice the difference between the terminology of peace, love, unity, and having fun, and Ungawa Black Power off the police. Now remember, the gangs in New York at that time outnumbered the police.
Yeah, like 50, a Warriors.
50 to what? 50 to what?
Okay.
Gangs were crazy then. So his theory was hip-hop was initially created as a weapon to control the minds of young youth from the beginning. Of course, they almost ran him off the stage when he said this, because this was a hip-hop awards. But he said, in his theory, hip-hop has been weaponized from the beginning to control the minds of youth, to lead them in the direction of what this government wants them to be led into. Prison to pipeline, drugs, death, what we see in the streets right now was invented in the early 70s by the United States government. That was his theory. Crazy you may think it. You got to think about because African Bambaataa got away with doing what?
Molesting kids?
Molesting kids for many years and never arrested, even though everyone knew he was a molester.
Yeah.
He's still never been arrested. And
now,
still never went to jail for this stuff. Now, Hadari's point.
Yeah.
Hadari's point was that when you from the streets, the guys that get away with a lot of stuff and don't go to jail
work for the
are snitches.
Okay.
They work for the police. They work for the government. That's how they're able to do what they do. You go to jail, they still out there in the street. So apply that to hip hop.
Yeah.
African Bambaataa got away with messing with little boys for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Never went to jail. And when he got busted, he didn't go to jail.
Why is that? Was that allegedly, or did he go to... Well,
No. It's common in New York. You know, it's common in New York. What was going on? I'm there with the guys on the front line. I'm Hip Hop TV, so we do these news stories. So, I got investigative report. Actually,
he said, no. I'm Hip Hop TV.
No.
Quit fucking around.
There's another connection to Oakland. Okay. Another connection to Oakland.
Yeah.
Eric Arnold, the hip hop journalist from Oakland, still lives in Oakland, wrote the most detailed article on African Bambaataa.
Eric
in
Arnold.
the whole country. Yeah, Eric Arnold wrote the article. Details.
And it's public information.
It's published.
Okay.
All you got to do is text Eric Arnold, call Eric Arnold, and say, send me the article that you wrote on African Bambaataa.
Is he in Oakland?
He lives in Oakland. He's the #1 hip-hop journalist in Oakland. It's Eric Arnold. He's been writing since 4080 magazine. He's been writing for the last 30-plus years of hip-hop around the country, but definitely Oakland.
Hey, man, this conversation is definitely going up. You know?
I got to top Chris Hick.
You know what I'm about to say? I like that.
Yeah, no, this stuff gets deep, man. This stuff gets deep.
So now that you say that hip-hop is being weaponized against black people, what album do you think changed rap the most?
It goes back to the NWA era. That meaning was real. The meeting they tell you about with the executives getting together, that meaning is real. I've worked in the industry for a long time. That's a real meaning. Artists will tell you. You saw like Lazy Bones interview. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
He breaks it down. He's not the only one. That meeting was real. You know, so with private prisons, with prison to school to prison pipelines, hip hop is a commercial for that. I mean, with our young kids today, take them headphones off and listen to what they're listening to.
Yeah.
I got a 21-year-old son and a 11-year-old granddaughter and stuff, so I have kids that do this whole spectrum, 30 to grandkids. So I know. And I work in the industry. So, if you listen to the songs, it's kill each other, it's get out there and hustle, it's disrespect each other, disrespect women, over and over and over. So what are you going to get when all you hear all day long in your headphones is the same message over and over again? you're going to get what we have.
Yeah.
Dumb, I mean, crazy stuff. Now, when I was growing up in the 80s and stuff, yeah, it was a lot of drugs in the community, and you know, all these drug wars, a lot of killings. Study what the killings are about now. It ain't about drug wars. A girl says something, a message on Instagram. They're going out killing over some crazy stuff, you know? So it's working. The plan is working and working very well.
So how does Sean Granberry from Hip Hop TV plan to counter that?
Well, one thing, we had to build our own platforms. So the first thing I did was build Hip Hop TV.
Come on now.
We got to build our own platform.
Shout out to Fame Media.
Exactly. We got to build. It starts with us building our own platform.
Where we control the content.
Where we control the content.
Okay.
We control the narrative.
That's right. Yeah.
But there are very, very evil companies that control this stuff. So if you understand how Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these platforms work, they're pay to play. So if you have 10 million followers, you may organically reach 10,000. You want to reach the other 990,000, you got to pay me. Play platform. Yep. Pay Mark Zuckerberg if you want to reach your own audience.
Yep.
You know, that's gangster.
And you know what else?
That's gangster.
You know what else they do? You know what I'm saying? They treat it like they give you they fuck with the algorithm.
Right.
So when they fuck with the algorithm, you might get 300 likes, and then when you start going up to like 600, then they shadow ban your ass to down to 200, then you think something wrong with you.
No, they want you to pay them.
Yep.
No, there ain't nothing wrong with you. They want that check. They want that swipe that credit card.
Hey, look, I'm going like this, right? That's how like when a motherfucker like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you get the dope and shit like that, you give them hey, test this. And then a motherfucker be like, hey man, where's some more of that shit at?
It's designed that way, but we haven't even got into the deep stuff. When you start getting into the data portion of it, you know, this is what I do on a high level. So you got to realize every time you push like, every time you make a comment, every time you move through their platform, they're building a database on you to know more about yourself than you know more about you than you know about yourself.
That's right.
I do it too. I build the same platforms, you know. I don't do it for evil. But data mining and data search is very important. Yeah. So if I know that, for example, through your movements through social media, I know that you like Chucks. Yeah. I know that you have an average spending on Chucks of $19.95. I know you get paid toward the first of the month. You pay your bills. You do your extra spending about the 7th of the month. I know you also look for a matching hat, you know, that goes along with that, and something about Oakland in your T-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm data mining all that, so I know subliminally what to send you down your timelines.
That's right.
To make you purchase things. But it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
I also know, so what was used doing when Donald Trump got elected, they used that same data for them country hicks to say, I know with the right messaging who I can convince to vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I know with the right messaging who I would get to drive a pickup truck through a crowd of people. I know with the right messaging who I can get to go shoot up a schoolyard. Data can be used very scary too. You can identify, you know, who the lunatics are through data and actually entice them to go do things. That's what's going on. So it's some scary stuff going on out there too. Data is very, very important to understand, but data is being used as a weapon against us all.
So remember back in about 12 years ago when they were talking about the Illuminati and hip hop and stuff like that. What's your take on that?
It's all true. It's all true. There's higher powers that run these record companies and run these platforms that, you know, influence us all. I mean, you could tell by, you know, in hip hop it's clear. You can tell in the music. You can tell in the music videos. You could tell, you know, how Cardi B is touted as the greatest rapper, female rapper ever. We know there's much greater talented females out there, but what is Cardi B doing? She's out there with a booty jiggling. She's out there, you know, with, you know, I can't even repeat the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? I can't repeat the lyrics for the ratings. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's crazy?
Right.
You know what's crazy?
But who's listening to that? Those 12-year-old girls listening to that. Very impressive little kids are listening to that. They don't know the difference between reality and, you know, reality and his music and his fantasy world.
Yeah.
You know, so they're believing this stuff and going out and living it. So luckily I only have sons, but you got some daughters out there, you know what I'm saying? They're living this stuff.
Did you ever think that a day would come where they actually promoted this much homosexuality in rap?
Well, homosexuality has been deep in entertainment for many years. So definitely from the acting side, but also in the music. I mean, there's I operate a lot of Atlanta for many years. So, because Shakur was based in Atlanta, who I work with very close. And man, it's an army of DL brothers out there. It's an army of them that's in the music industry.
Talk about who Shakur is real quick for those that don't know.
Okay, so I worked a long time with Shakur Stewart. He's from Oakland. He was L.A. Reid's right-hand man for many years and rose up to run Def Jam. So he replaced Jay-Z as the president of Def Jam. Shakur's right here from East Oakland, by the way. Right from East Oakland. Went to Morehouse College. I was an underboss for many years, so I did a lot of the undercover work that had to get done. We leave it at that, you know what I'm saying? I take the fifth. But I did a lot of that work for many years, and Shakur rose up to be the head of Def Jam. So Shakur signed Young Jeezy, signed Rick Ross, signed Sierra, signed Beyonce to a songwriting deal, introduced Beyonce to Jay-Z. That was all a brother from East Oakland that did that.
Okay. And he passed away.
He passed away, very young at 34. It was ambient poison, we really believe.
What is ambient?
Ambien is a sleeping aid that has a lot of side effects. Can be addicting, but there's a lot of side effects. So a lot of people have insomnia. So Shakur was suffering from insomnia because his brain worked all the time. He was head of Def Jam. He's over all these projects. So he always had a lot of ideas. He couldn't sleep. But when you mix that with some weed and shake a shot of Hennessy, you live in hip-hop life, the effects of Ambien can be very, very intense. And he was a top executive, a lot of pressure. But the side effect of Ambien is suicidal thoughts in your head.
Damn.
So one of the side effects, it tells you to kill yourself. And how can you even have a side effect in with some so-called medicine that tells you to kill yourself? But for him, he committed suicide.
Damn. And was that the first case that they said that Ambien?
No, there's a lot of cases of really people under a lot of pressure, top executives. Quite a few have committed suicide while using Ambien.
Gotcha.
So it's an effect, especially back then when he was using it. It was common.
Okay,
it was common.
So you work with a lot of people.
A lot.
Tell me the difference with working with women versus working with men.
Women working with men. I'm very protective with women. So with women, I'm always telling them that this industry is pretty evil. So you got to be careful. And you got to be willing not to sell your soul and not to sell your booty, unless that's what you want to do. Because they're coming after you for both.
Okay.
Coming after you for both.
What's the difference?
So with men, it's almost the same story. I have to be protective. You're a man.
I'm saying, what's the difference between a woman selling her ass and selling her soul? Were they one and the same?
Not one and the same. not one and the same. But you can't fall for the, get on your knees and I'll do the beat for you. You got to be willing to walk away from a lot of deals because, it's not worth that. And you don't even be known for that.
Yeah.
With men though, the soul thing is a little more intense. But for a man, you have to. I hope you know not to get on your knees. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hope that that beat ain't that important. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So with men, I feel like I have to be as protective. But I really do care about people. So I just hate to see people manipulated and used and abused in this industry because I've seen so much of it through the years.
Yeah. Now, you told me that you grew up in the Catholic school system, so that meant that you had to play basketball if you was going to be a CYO legend.
Exactly.
Talk about that a little bit.
So, growing up, Oakland, St. Pascal's.
Okay, that's where Jay Kidd went.
Exactly. So, me and Jay Kidd grew up since third grade.
Okay.
I played against him every day from third grade, basically to adulthood. So, because of that, I actually became a pretty good player because if Jason Kidd is guarding you every day, you better learn something. So For me, I got a very nice jump shot because Jason doesn't let you drive to the basket at all. And he's bigger, stronger, faster than everybody.
And don't get tired.
And he's natural. So Jason never really practiced as a kid. I had to shoot 1,000 shots a day, do all my layup drills and everything, just so I wouldn't look silly on the court. Jay came out there after shoveling doo-doo from his dad's horses, got on the court, and just took everybody to the hole.
So he got that country strength.
Yeah, he got that country strength, wherever it come from. But Jason didn't do a lot of practicing. He just natural. Okay. We knew in third grade he was going to the NBA. That's how good he was. He's that much better than everybody else.
So this is what I want to know. I want you to rank these guards. I'm going to throw you 4 guards out.
Let me have it.
And you tell me 1 through 4.
Let me have it.
Tony Parker.
All right.
Jason Kidd.
All right.
Steve Nash.
All right.
Gary Payton.
Woo!
And I'm going to throw Chris Paul in there.
Okay. I'm being biased, but Jason Kidd to me is a true point guard. I actually don't need my point guard doing a lot of scoring. I'm a coach. I need my 2 guard being the gun. You know, my point can score, but it's not necessary. Gary Payton defense is just legendary. And if you knew Gary growing up, I was there for all those high school and those early games with Gary. Gary's not that good. Gary believes he's good. That's another story. Gary didn't have no great jump shot. Gary wasn't flying down, dunking on people like his son. I was there. I'm talking early. Gary talked a lot of trash and believed he was better than you, so he was better than you. He wasn't really better than the next guy. He just willed himself to be better than you. And he built a Hall of Fame career off willing himself to be better. Look at Gary's jump shot. Look at Gary's moves to the basket. Was he jumping all high and raising up on people? No. Gary is he wills himself to be better than people. That's a special skill. So Gary ranks up on this list because that's a mental ability that very few people have.
This shit is hella funny because I never even looked at it like
very few people have what he has mentally. He wills himself to be better than you. That's a skill.
I've never heard that.
That's a skill. That's a skill. Steve Nash comes after that. Chris Paul, Tony Parker are even to me.
Okay.
Even to me.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, now this is another thing that I wanted to know.
All right.
Top 15 basketball players all time, is Charles Barkley on that list?
Charles Barkley's on that list.
Somebody said on Facebook that he don't get to be on that list
because he didn't win no championship.
Yeah.
I don't hear that mess. Come on, championships is more team management than it is the players. It's how they put together the teams. And that's the operations manager. Now, LeBron put together his own teams, but that's another story. But normally, you got to give the Warriors credit for what they do with drafts. Yeah. They don't do a bunch of trades. They draft the right player and groom them into a system that works.
It's like a farm team, right?
That's like old school. I mean, that's the way the teams used to do it way back when. It's not all these trades. They really draft a team and really build it slowly and build a core. That's incredible.
Okay, now, is the Warriors team with KD, could they beat the Bulls?
I believe so. Fully healthy, the Warriors with KD, is so much firepower from the outside that they would have had a bad shooting night for Bulls to beat them. It's just too much firepower. And they play defense. So Jordan going to get his. Scottie going to get a few. But at the end of the day, they got to outshoot us. It's too many balls flying in the air. Too many up come Clay, KD, Steph, and these bench players. I mean, the bench players that came off the scene. It's just too many weapons. Is
Steph Curry ranked above Larry Bird at this point?
Yes, he is. Steph is above Larry Bird. Steph changed the game. I'm a coach. I coach kids, right? These kids think they can come down and bomb at the half court. You know what I'm saying? They change. There's torture on coaches now. Because all these kids think they Steph Curry, but do they shoot 3,500 shots a day like Steph Curry? No, they don't. They shoot 2 shots a day and try to come out and be Steph. So Steph Curry changed the way basketball is played. To now, if you're a center that can't shoot a 3, you may not have a job. You may not even have a job on the team. If you can't shoot a 3, I mean, you can rebound your butt off, set screens. You got a checklist. You may get fired next week.
I got to ask you this question. If you was going to put together a list of basketball players with the highest basketball IQ,
Right.
is Dennis Rodman on that list?
No. Dennis Rodman did his job well. Basketball IQ has to have the whole 360-degree points of basketball. Rebounding, setting screens. Dennis Rodman, he's probably one of the best at rebounding, setting screens.
Okay.
But that's only that much of basketball. There's a whole lot more basketball to go along with that.
See, you agree with my business partner.
Right, okay.
He said he's not on that list.
Not on that list.
He got to be.
Why he got to be? He's a rebounder and a screen. That's all he does at very high levels. But there's a lot more to basketball than rebounding and setting screens.
Well, want me to tell you how I look at it? Say you're walking in a coliseum.
Defense, too. I got to give him his defense credit.
And he stuck Shaq. I look at it like this. Excuse me. If I'm going in a forum.
Right.
And certain people are teaching classes.
Right.
Like Steph Curry would be teaching shooting with Bird, Reggie Miller, and all them.
Right.
They're at that table, but Steph Curry will probably be teaching the class, and the others will probably be his assistants.
Right.
Dennis Rodman would be teaching the class.
I disagree. Draymond Green is a professor. Draymond Green knows how to maximize all the players on the court with his own limited abilities. He's out there coaching the game.
Is he a Gary Payton?
He's out there coaching the game. No, he's different than Gary Payton. Gary Payton mentally willed himself to be better than you. I mean, that's some science stuff right there.
He is a lockdown defender.
He's lockdown defender, but Gary Payton has a science.
Yeah.
You know, Gary Payton uses the secret in basketball.
Yeah, he does.
He wills himself to be better than you. Draymond Green just knows the game. He's literally Steve Kerr's assistant coach already. He's coaching from the floor.
So he's a player coach.
He's a player coach. He's a player coach, and he teaches the game.
Didn't Gary kind of do that? Was he a player coach as well?
Gary was a point guard. A point guard is running the team and teaches on the court, running the court. Draymond Green's a power forward. Power forwards aren't the ones that run the court. That's not their job.
He plays power to point.
Right.
Dennis plays power to center.
Correct. But Draymond plays center too.
Yeah. Okay.
So Draymond plays almost all five positions, but he also teaches on the court.
So
he's out there fully coaching.
So who would you say is what basketball player has the highest IQ that ever played a game?
See, now you get up there with Magic Johnson.
That's who I think.
Yeah, Magic Johnson. Yeah, Magic Johnson has the highest IQ. I think one of the highest IQs that ever played the game because he gets his other players involved. He could dominate when he feels like it. But Magic Johnson is definitely one of the highest IQs to ever play basketball.
What two people, whether they're players or not, but they have to be well known, what two people were the maddest when the Warriors won the championship?
I hope KD was mad because he should have been there with him. I hope KD was mad. Some of those players that chose to lose, I think, to leave the team, but they could have been there.
Is CP3? You think CP3 is one of the maddest?
Nah. He's like president of the Players Association. He ain't tripping. He wants the best team to win. I don't think he has. I don't think a lot of players have hate for the Warriors winning. The Warriors kind of earn it.
Is Barkley?
I mean, Barkley's just a hater, but he does that for drama on TV too. I mean, he's just a hater. He's been hating from the very beginning. So I mean, he got to stick with the story now. But, you know, I think players see the way the Warriors did it and almost have to respect it. You know what I mean? You almost have to respect that game, you know? That's why LeBron always talking about if I had a team to play for, I would play for the Warriors, you know? You see him say that lately? You got to respect the game, man. This is the same core team.
Okay.
That was in last place not too long ago.
What two players do you think were the happiest that they won their championship?
They had to be the youngsters on the Warriors.
Poole and Payton.
Poole. And I think Wiggins is happy. He don't show the expression on his face, but I think Wiggins has worked very hard in his league for a long time with ups and downs, and he really played well in those final games. So I'm sure Wiggins has to be, and Poole to me are the very happiest.
Okay.
Winning that championship.
And see, you know it's crazy because, you know, I have a theory.
Okay.
Steph Curry's impact to basketball is very similar to T-Pain's to rap music.
I agree. It changed it. It changed it. It changes in a way that me as a long-term music industry guy doesn't like, because for me, I would compare it to how Steph did it. For me, I like talented people.
Yeah.
And we started playing around with them voice machines and all that kind of stuff. There's some non-talented people that are able to excel in a career. But at one point, you really had to have a nice voice.
Yeah.
At one point, you really had to be able to flow. You know, there's always fluke artists and everything, but the majority of the artists that were successful because they were doing something that no one else could do. They were professionals.
Uh-huh.
So you can't flow like come out the street and flow like Rakim. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
They just can't. The average person just can't walk in the studio and flow like that. But if you alter the voice with computers and stuff, now you're to the realm where the average person can go out there and perform and get more accolades than a skilled person like Rakim. Now, what Steph Curry has done is make it look easy, stuff that's very hard. So people that have no skill level or don't want to put in none of the work, they don't want to put in 3,500 shots a day. They don't want to run a few miles in the morning. They don't want to do the weight program. They don't want to catch tennis balls and dribble and stuff. Go out there and try to do the same thing he's doing with no skill level to match it, or no even hard work ethics to match it. So Curry's created a whole generation of wannabe basketball players that think they could hoove up three-pointers from everywhere and pass up layups. So these kids now, they pass up. Kids on a fast break now, they wing out to shoot a three-pointer instead of doing a V-cut to the basket for a layup.
Yeah.
On a fast break. He changed the game. Now, is that for the better or for the worse? That's a good question. As an old school coach, it's for the worse. Because fourth graders can't hoover up three-pointers. It's like layups, so they can't do it. They trying, though.
Do you think that Kevin Durant made a mistake by leaving the Warriors?
Big mistake. Ego-driven. But, Kevin had moved his media company to New York. So Kevin Durant, LeBron James, those two, they run their basketball as a business. So they're great basketball stars, but they're building businesses. So when he moved his business to New York, he wanted to move his basketball to New York to make it better for his business.
Who's the best?
Same with LeBron. He moved to L.A. because he moved his media company to L.A. and he had business to conduct. So it's better for him to play basketball in L.A. and run his core business in L.A. So they're running like a business.
Gotcha. So who's the best Laker all time?
Numbers don't lie, so it's Kareem. It's Kareem. Then followed by Magic. But Kareem's numbers outdoes everybody. It's still out everybody. Nobody's close to Kareem in numbers.
Say some aliens came down here on some Space Jam shit.
Okay.
And you had to pick 5 to play with one coming off the bench. What 5 you got with who coming off the bench?
5 players?
Of any, you assemble a team to play against them.
And this is at their prime or?
Prime, for sure.
Prime. So Magic Johnson, point guard.
Okay.
Michael Jordan, the 2. Kareem at the 5. KD at the 4 or at the 3.
So you said Magic at the 1.
Mm-hmm.
You said Jordan at the 2?
Jordan at the 2.
Who at the 3?
KD.
KD, okay.
I put Kareem in the middle and Tim Duncan as the power forward.
So who coming off the bench?
And I got one coming off the bench. I got I like the youngster, Tatum, coming off the bench.
LeBron isn't on this team.
Well, you got a good point there. LeBron actually bumps Tatum coming off the bench.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve, you got a question?
I agree.
Steve, you got a question?
I agree.
You get one, Steve. Oh, you know what?
Okay.
I got to ask it because he said it. Who changed basketball the most? Steph Curry or Magic Johnson?
Steph Curry, by far. Steph Curry, by far. Magic is an incredible. First of all, I don't know if you met Magic. Magic is huge. Magic he a big man. So
and personality.
I mean, just physically, he's a big man.
Yeah.
So when you stand next to him, to think that he dribbled the ball like that's that's incredible.
Yeah.
A guy that big could move down the court like that. That's incredible. We said next to he's a big man.
He was kind of prototypically starting positionless basketball. And shout out to Steve, though. You was right about that because we had this question.
Okay.
You know, because that's my brother. We fuck around and shit change after, you know, you hear different points and shit like that. He asked Steph Curry. I was like, no, Magic Johnson.
No.
But then I thought about it because it go back to the T-Pain comparison.
Right.
When I sat there and thought about it, T-Pain would make somebody that's not talented
Right.
raw.
Talented.
You know what I'm saying?
Not even really talented. He can make a hit song with someone with less talent.
Yeah.
Right.
And shit like that.
Right. They're not necessarily talented, but because it takes less skill to work with all the digital voice effects, that he can make a hit song with someone with not a lot of talent.
Have you ever did music? Like rapped and stuff like that?
No, I never rapped. I was always kind of executive. I did management, I did label management, but I was never an artist.
Okay. Yeah. Now, do you remember Dr. Dre's first album, The Chronic?
Yes.
If The Chronic and Snoop's first album, Doggy Style, was a double disc, would that be tighter than All Eyes on Me by Tupac?
Yes. The Chronic alone is tighter than All Eyes on Me, Tupac, to me. The Chronic alone. The Chronic is a historic album.
Is it the Thriller of rap?
It's up there. It's up there. Dre put his foot in The Chronic.
He did.
He put his foot in The Chronic. I got to give him credit there.
What are the 5 most anticipated rap albums?
Now you're going deep now.
Yeah.
You're going deep now. You're going deep now. When you say anticipated, you mean that people's waiting for them to come out?
They're waiting on it to come out. Like, I can't wait till this shit come out.
Well, there's always sequels to the original album. So it's always a second album because a new artist.
That's right.
You don't even know a new artist.
That's right.
So I was really excited for Eric B. and Rakim's second album to come out.
Okay.
So that's one. I'm a Short fan. So after Born the Mac, I want to see what's going to have on the next one.
What came after Born the Mac?
Which one came after? Was that Shorty the Pimp?
Yep.
I was disappointed with Shorty the Pimp. Which one?
Short Dogs in the House.
Short Dogs in the House. So
with the Ghetto.
Right. So I was a little disappointed in that follow-up because Born the Mac was just so hard for me. But it was cool, but it wasn't that level.
Okay.
The Chronic, the second one to come out, it took
2001.
Took 20 years for the next one. Well, I don't know, took the next one to come out.
That's your 3. Okay,
I've been waiting for the next one to come after the Chronic that whole time.
Okay.
Going way back, that Beastie Boy first album was just off the Richter scale.
Okay.
So I wanted the next one to come out to see if it hit as hard. And I loved Hammer's album big time too. So I wanted the next Hammer album to see if it had another Ringham on it.
Okay.
To come out.
And that's your 5. And let me tell you mine.
Okay, let me tell you.
I respect that 5.
All right.
My 5.
Okay.
The most anticipated rap album of all time is Doggy Style with Snoop.
They did a lot of promotion for that though.
Because they heard it on.
They did a lot of promotion.
Because technically he was on the Chronic so much that was like his. Who the fuck is that?
Right.
Doggy Style.
Right.
Ice Cube's first album, because when he left NWA, that America's Most Wanted.
It's one of my favorite albums, by the way. I may have would have exchanged Ice Cube. I wasn't thinking on that one, but that was one of my favorite albums. So okay, I give you credit.
Ice Cube Death Certificate is also anticipated because he got dissed on Niggas for Life.
Right, exactly.
So he kind of made it twice.
Right.
I can't put Kill at Will, the other album, in there, the EP.
Right.
But that little back and forth with 100 Miles of Running, getting dissed on Niggas for Life, we got to put him in there twice.
I got you.
Tupac, All Eyes on Me.
Got it.
He fucking with Death Row. He fucking with Death Row.
Right.
And number 5 is kind of like a tie between Nas, It Was Written, and Get Rich or Die Trying.
Okay.
Because everybody heard Illmatic, man, this nigga is tight.
Right.
And then, who the fuck is this buff nigga that Dre is fucking with now? Who is that?
Right.
His single, Wankster, was a diss song.
Right. I didn't even like Wankster, by the way. That wasn't one of my favorite songs. I didn't like Wankster. That wasn't one of my favorite songs on the album at all. So
you didn't like Wankster?
I didn't like Wankster.
I loved Wankster.
I liked the next singles, but I didn't like Wankster. Yeah.
Like that beat was weird. It was tight and shit like that. It solidified. Right, you know what I'm saying? So this is what I want to know. Say like,
I got to answer a question before it even comes up.
Oh,
Ice Cube's my number one of all time. So you know that. Now, he should have been in that last piece.
Okay.
Ice Cube's, and he's my number one of all time because he's able to take more of a gangster message and apply upliftment to it. I've seen no one in basic language ever do that. Chuck D did it, but you can't understand what he's saying half the time. You know what I mean? You can say Paris and those guys did it, but Ice Cube is explaining it in simple English, saggy pants language to upliftment. No one has done it better than Ice Cube ever, and I don't think no one ever will be able to explain street stuff to street guys. That's upliftment. Straight out of nation.
I can't wait.
Straight Nation of Islam language after that.
You see, I can't wait to jump in.
Okay,
you see my body language, I can't wait to jump in. This is what he's saying to the motherfuckers at home.
Right.
NWA and Public Enemy.
Right.
In NWA and Public Enemy, you have Public Enemy, right?
Right.
You have more positive people than you got the ignorant dude, Flavor Flav.
Right.
In NWA, you got more ignorant people than the positive person, Ice Cube.
Right.
That's why when Ice Cube left NWA, he started fucking with Public Enemy.
Right.
So he was kind of like an honorary member of Public Enemy being in NWA.
Exactly.
Because what is a Public Enemy? Somebody that's fighting the system.
Right.
So you're a nigga with attitude, you fighting the system, and if you're a Public Enemy, you're fighting the system.
Right.
You're right about that. Death Certificate is one of the most conscious rap albums of all time, but it's gangster too.
It's gangster.
That's why when Ice Cube started doing the West Side Connection thing, it was kind of more like of a NW. Like it kind of seemed like that chapter could have came right after when he left NWA.
I got a theory. This goes into this. Ice Cube was doing so much positive music and moving some people forward that I believe he got a visit. The government only allow you to do so much. Ice Cube was really waking up a lot of the neighborhood guys.
Okay.
At a certain point, you get a visit. So this came from what's Uncle Carlos, from the Carlos. I say Uncle Los, but it's from the Olympics, the Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Carlos Smith.
The one that went like this.
Carlos Smith.
That was on one of the boxes.
Right. So one of my closest friends is his nephew.
Wasn't Jesse Owens?
No, that's Carlos Smith and Tommy. It's Tommy and Carlos. Last name's coming to me. But anyway, he said after the Olympics, he was blackballed. He couldn't get a job nowhere after he rose his fist at the Olympics. He said he was visited by two white men in suits that told him, if you renounce what you did, you could do whatever you want in life. We'll take care of you, right? They took him to an office. This is a true story. This is true. He'll come tell you himself. I'm going to get him here when he next time to pay. I'm going to get him on the show, in fact, so he can tell you himself. True story. And he said when he went to the office, this is in L.A., by the way. He went to the office. He could see certain people coming in and out the building, right, that he recognized, right? So they basically told him if he renounced what he did, they would, just basically cut him a check for whatever he wanted. And if they didn't, he'll never work again, right? So he turned it down. He said, I ain't no sellout. He turned it down, right? But he saw other people going in the building. You know what I'm saying? He'll tell you this himself. And so he didn't get no job for a long time.
Yeah.
He was sweeping the park. He had got a job raking leaves at the park. That's the only job he could do. Wife left him because he didn't have no money and everything. And one of the big TV producer in L.A. saw him. I was like, what are you doing? Hey, Carlos, is that you? What you doing down there? And he called the mayor, and he had a job. So it was all but this went on for years. So he told me that when you get to a certain level of consciousness and a leader as with black people, you get a visit. You get a real story.
Because
to say that, the way Ice Cube music changed overnight, he went from super conscious to West Side, too quick, way too quick. and start doing all them Disney movies and all that friendly stuff, you know, and not talking about the white man's the devil and stuff all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Ice Cube got to visit. Much as I love Ice Cube,
Yeah.
Ice Cube got to visit.
That's your theory.
That's my theory. Ice Cube got to visit.
Well,
you know, now he still sprinkles a little knowledge and stuff out there, but Ice Cube was going hella hard for a few years there, just waking thugs up. Because when you wake thugs up, that's when you're going to get changed in the streets. When you wake these thugs up, it teaches something.
Because
he was doing it.
Because America's Most Wanted, Kill at Will,
Right.
and Death Certificate.
Yeah.
You could put that shit on shuffle. That was
Right.
enough to wake motherfuckers
Yeah.
up. Like,
They was waking up.
Death Certificate, he had a song about
Right.
summer vacation.
Right.
The spreading the
Right.
Crips and Bloods.
Right.
Man's best friend.
Right.
That was some powerful shit.
He was waking people up to the point where you get a visit and say, here's your Hollywood green pass, or things can get very tough for you. The visits are real.
Okay, well, before we get out of here, I got to ask you this question real quick. Say like you go to a prestigious school,
Right.
right? What 2 albums, if the professor said, give me 2 albums on a Christmas break to listen to
Right.
to introduce me to hip hop?
Okay.
What 2 albums will you give the professor and why?
Eric B. and Rakim's Paid in Full.
Okay.
And why is, to me, that is hip hop. I mean, just the production on that album, Rakim's analogies and flows, all that to me is hip hop.
Okay.
Then I would turn his word over with X-Clan to the East. What was the name of the album? To the East Blackwards. Whatever the name of the album. I'm close to it.
Yeah.
I would then knock him over the head with X-Clan.
Gotcha. Well, you know what 2 albums I give him?
Okay.
Death Certificate
Okay.
by Ice Cube.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And I'm going to give him that because it's a
Right.
saga around that.
Right.
Because I figured that if he liked that album,
Right.
then he'll want to go backwards to the NWA and then start fiddling
Right.
through the other albums
Right.
that are in the area.
Right.
And if it's right now, then they'll probably end up listening to a lot of
Right.
Death Row. Like that album
Right.
would make you question it because it's a saga.
Right.
And that's one of the dopest albums of all time.
Right. I agree.
And the other album would be probably Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Oh, that's one of my favorite albums of all time. I wouldn't introduce it to describe hip hop because to me, it's a fusion album. It's more than hip hop. It's R&B. It's reggae. It's a whole nother. It has its own category.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say hip hop. That's just a category of just great music. I don't know what category you put that in, but
Yeah.
Lauryn was so talented when she
Definitely.
made that album. I wouldn't try to say that that's hip hop. That's about 5 different categories of music. You know?
Yeah.
It
sure.
would, but I love it. That's one of my favorite albums of all time.
You know what's funny though? Because my album that came out during that time,
Uh-huh.
I think Miseducation, Baduism,
Right,
that's one of my favorite albums of all time,
Right.
along with Lauryn Hill.
right.
They came out similarly in times.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think Baduism ages probably better than any other album I've
Right.
ever heard.
right,
Like Lauryn Hill, when I put that album in, I love that album.
right,
It reminds me of 1997.
right,
Baduism, when I put it in, it reminds me of that point walking to now.
right, right,
Like Miseducation takes me back there.
right.
And I feel that time. When
Right.
I put in Baduism, it takes me back there, but as the album flows,
Right,
it walks me to now.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree. I don't know. Lauryn Hill it's about 4 cuts on there. They were released today. They would still be hits. It's about 4 cuts that to me are timeless.
You know what? When you coming back though?
You know, I'm ready. You know, man. They call me the mayor of East Oakland, so I mean, I'm right around the corner.
For
You
sure.
know, half the time I'm right around the corner.
So
all you
you-
gotta do is say when.
So if you're the mayor of East Oakland, Fab is the mayor of North Oakland, right?
And we have mayor meetings.
So who's the mayor of West Oakland?
What's his name? Why my name not coming to me? You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
My little partner. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about.
JR, Valerie or Stalin?
No, Stalin.
Shut up to Stalin. I just seen that nigga there with a joke. You know what? I love his honesty.
Stalin. Sorry, Stalin.
You know,
My mind little fried.
I just seen him on Friday.
Okay.
And it was crazy though because I was walking down the street and I seen a nice white car, Benz or a BMW, Buster Huey.
Right.
And I heard a boop boop, and I'm like, who was that? You know? And when he got out, and it's from a distance, he has a very boyish look. Because he's not that tall, and he has a young look.
He looks young. He looks young,
and every time I see him, he looks a little different. This time he lost a little weight. You know? Hey, what's up, man? What's up, Jay? I'm proud of you, nigga. He said something. I want to tell you that I'm proud of you. Because I'm always proud of my partners. And you got to tell motherfuckers that. And I said, thank you for not responding to a lot of shit. He said this. L, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. How many motherfuckers actually say that?
Yeah, he's blessed.
You know, because I see a lot of rappers, you know, like when they get to their dream job, they still continue some of the stuff that they was trying to get away from. And it takes a certain level of desiring or respect for your blessed shit to not respond. And shout out to Styling.
Styling's for real. I remember early in the days, man, Styling, he'd be standing out there in the West, boy, with all that crew, boy. That was some scary. That was some scary looking stuff. So he's come a long way, man. Because them some crazy times back then. So very proud of my brother. Very Fab too. Fab and I are real close, and he going hard in the paint.
For sure. Well, thank you for coming, man.
Oh, you know that.
For sure. And tell people where they can meet you at.
hiphoptv.com. Come see me. Our apps are dropping soon. We're dropping our show, The City Is Mine. About to go into production of that. Tells the story of NBA stars, the city they grew up. We're starting with Oakland. We got a lot of stuff. We got Untold Rhymes. We're looking for MCs out there. We got our Hip Hop TV Top 10 Countdown. So we're looking for music to put into our countdown show. We do it by region, then we do our whole national, then we do globally. So we got a lot happening right now and a lot about to blast off, but it all started in East Oakland. You know that?
For sure, man. Well, thank you, man, for coming. I'm LD's, also known Lawrence One, for another episode of I Need to Know and the Usual. Come on, you know what I want.